All right, folks, it's Fantasy Football Island. I'm Tito, Jeff Thidoff. Follow me on Twitter at That Happens. He is Chad Rink. Follow him on Twitter at Chad Ocho Rinko. Drafts are fast and furiously coming over here now, Chad. So we'll keep getting out the advice. We're going to talk to Nathan Schivley in a little bit. He's the owner, the creator, the grand poobah, if you will, of fantasydraftproxies.com, a spot you can go to if you need help with your draft, need someone to help you run your team for the season. There's all that kind of stuff out there. So, Chad, how are you today, my friend?
Doing well. How are you, bud?
Doing great. What are we going to get into today?
Today, we're going to do a little game. I guess you want to call it a game called Hello, Is It Me You're Looking For? A little tribute to Lionel Richie.
Okay.
So what we're going to do is I'm going to talk as an NFL player, like he's trying to convince you to draft him.
Okay. And
we're going to see, are you interested? Are you looking for him on your team?
Okay.
So this is probably going to suck, but, we'll try
That's the spirit.
We'll try it anyway. So going into it that way. So first one.
Yep.
I am one of only 3 quarterbacks to average at least 50 rushing yards per game in NFL history.
Okay.
Since the Detroit Lions bye week in the 2022 season, they have only allowed a player to reach 100 rushing yards against them 6 times in those 46 games. I have 3 of those 6 games.
Okay.
In 2022.
Since what year? 2020?
Since 2022.
Okay. That was the 3 times. He has 3 of those games?
3 of the 6 games that somebody has rushed 100 yards against him.
Okay.
In 2022, I was the QB 5 in points per game.
Okay.
2023, I was the QB 9 in points per game.
Okay.
And in my 6 starts in 2024, I was the QB 7 in fantasy points per game. I'm currently being drafted as the QB 13. So my question is, hello, is it me you're looking for?
QB 13 right now?
Sincerely, Justin Fields.
Really?
Yes.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Justin Fields.
Justin Fields.
He's one of those guys who could be a league winner for you this year. I think that he could be. He could also flame out and he could be inconsistent and the Jets could suck. But if you get him and he balls out like he could, because he's never had, in Chicago, they yanked him around. Yeah. And he had all different coaches, different coordinators, always that. And then they didn't really believe in him. With the Steelers, he did fine to start off, and then they pulled him and put in Russell Wilson. Yeah. And then now, if the Jets are going to let him ride, let him do it. Let him ride. I shouldn't say if the Russell Wilson was on his team last year. But anyways, if he's going to do that, if they're going to do that with Justin Fields, I think Justin Fields could have a really good year.
Yeah, I mean, I'm telling you, that is the rushing upside for quarterbacks is huge in fantasy. Because he could not be a great quarterback and still finish as a QB 10.
Right.
And he's going as a QB 13. So you really probably don't even have to use him as your QB 1.
Right.
But he's a flyer that you can take no matter who you have. And, if he does ball out, you got some trade for him too. Sure. So I like him. It's just quarterbacks with rushing upside are just unreal in fantasy. All right. So here's another one.
All right.
From week 10 on last season, only 5 quarterbacks had more fantasy points from rushing than me. From week 12 on, only 2 quarterbacks had more fantasy points from rushing than me. From weeks 10 to 18, on a points per game basis, I was the QB 10. I am currently going as the QB 23. So my question is, Jeff, hello, is it me you're looking for? Kind regards.
I think it's Bryce Young.
Bryce Young
had a strong finish last year. I think he had 4 rushing touchdowns in the last 3 games, or maybe it was, whatever it was. But he finished after he got benched and came back. He was a really good quarterback. He was a good quarterback. I'm sorry, good quarterback, really good compared to where he was.
Right.
But and now you've got Tet McMillan there. I don't know. He's a guy who I think I think he's getting drafted too low.
I agree. And I don't think I would want him as my QB1.
No.
I love him as a second quarterback in Superflex 2 QB leagues because you can get him you get him in the 9th round in a 2 quarterback league. I've done a couple mocks, and that's kind of where you're getting him. And he's also, I think, could be a pretty good bye week guy for one of your guys because I think they have a late
They have a late bye?
I think so. I'm going to pull it up, but yeah, I think it's like a week, like 14, 13 or something. But I know he's not off on week 10 because all my Dak Prescott shares, I'm drafting like crazy because I think they play like the Falcons or somebody week 10. It's not a bad one. So, yeah, he's a week 14 bye. So
it's perfect.
It's perfect because this is the last week of the
regular season
fantasy season.
By the way, that screws up a lot of leagues.
And it's because the NFL is doing that.
Yeah.
Everybody plays Thanksgiving week.
Yes.
That's what's screwing up. I don't understand. This is a whole side note thing. This is one of my...
Anthony Schivley calls it a side nugget.
Side nugget.
Yes.
This is one of my fantasy football airing of grievances with the NFL. Like, why don't you just do like 5 weeks buys?
Yeah, knock them all out.
Have them go like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Yeah.
You can get 5. You can get 6 teams, 14. Just do something. Don't stretch out over the year because it sucks for a team with a week 5 bye because then you got this stretch of games at the end of the year. You're going to get tired.
Yeah,
and you got teams maybe with a later bye that could help them, maybe not help them. It just all depends. Like just condense the bye weeks. NFL.
I wish they would,
yeah.
But it screws the fantasy stuff because we're in a 10-team league, and a lot of 10-team leagues. It's if you have 2 divisions like we do, play your own division twice. That's 8 games right there,
yep.
Right? Play the division once. That's 5 games. That's 13 games. 14, we just start the playoffs. 14 is where a lot of people start the playoffs. Yeah. And, it screws it up because now we have bye weeks. We can't start playoffs. And we have we just have another random regular season game in our league.
Yeah.
And then you get into the playoffs after that. But yes, it does screw with people. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Bryce, I do again, I like Fields and Young, but not as a QB1.
Nope, neither.
Nope.
I would, if I was so damn heavy at running back and wide receiver, and I had to have Fields as my one, I'd live with it. I could live with it.
Just draft Bryce Young as your backup,
right? And then maybe Bryce Young as a backup or something like that.
Trevor Lawrence, somebody else,
right? If you wanted to go with the 0 QB, you wanted to wait as long as you can on that.
Yeah.
But where you're getting, it's you should be able to get a better starting quarterback than Fields, though, even if you wait to draft a quarterback.
Yes. Okay. So those are all my quarterbacks. So we'll go on to another one here.
Okay.
I am the only non-quarterback that had at least 20 fantasy points in 10 games last year. I am also the only running back last year to rank top 5 at the position in both rush attempts and targets. From week 6 on last year, no running back averaged more than my 22.8 points per game. So my question is, hello.
Oh, man.
Is it me you're looking for? Your true 101 Bijan Robinson.
Really?
Yes.
That's a pretty good stat line for him. I'm glad I've got him in our league. I'm glad I've got a chance to protect him. That's a good thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So is there ever an argument to take Bijan over Jamar Chase at the 101 in a redraft league?
I think there is. I do. I think there is. I think they're really 1A and 1B. I'd be fine with either one of them, but just whichever one you take, you're probably going to have to get the other. But if you're at 1, then you're at the back end of it, and then you last pick in the second round, first pick in the third. And if you take a running back there, you probably go 2 wide receivers. If you go Chase there, you might go 2 running backs. So it's kind of depends. Now look, I'd probably lean Robinson over Chase. I think I would. If I had the number 1 pick overall, I think that's where I would lean is Robinson, because I think you can get. There's only a handful of running backs that will put up numbers like Robinson, and there's a lot of receivers who you can get. Like it's easier because depending on league size too. Like if you're starting 3 receivers and 2 running backs, then you can make up for your receivers easier. 3 people biting the apple versus 2 at running back.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I'm all on Bijan just because I've done enough mock drafts. I've even done mock drafts where I've taken 3 running backs, and then I just like the receivers in rounds 3 through 6 better than the running backs. So I've been loading up on running backs earlier. But again, Chase had such a huge year last year. It's going to be hard, I think, for him to replicate that with a 17-game T. Higgins.
Before we go to the next one, let's take a break here. We're going to bring Nate Schivley on here in just a moment. All right, now we're going to be joined by Nathan Schivley. Nathan Schivley. Nate is the owner, creator of Fantasy Draft Proxies. FantasyDraftProxies.com is where you can go to get help for your fantasy drafts. Chad and I have both done work for them in the past. Nate, I'm curious, how has the business grown? How long ago did you start it, and what led you to start it?
Yeah, so we've been doing this for about 15 years. It was the brainchild of my friends and I in a bar in Las Vegas about 15 years ago. We needed a guy to fill in for our draft, and we didn't want to auto draft because it was an auction draft, and the auto drafter would have kind of ruined the auction. So we were trying to bribe people to fill in and draft for him, and we tried to pay this guy $20 to do the proxy draft, and then they're like, hey, you make websites. I bet you other people want, this kind of service too. They need somebody to fill in. So it kind of was born from that. We had 5 guys originally. All pitched in $100 for marketing. And from there, I bought the rest of them out. And so it's just me now and you guys. But about 15 years ago, now we're doing about 250 plus football drafts a year, plus some baseball and basketball and some other stuff, but mainly football.
Yeah, so I was just wondering, did you think when you started like this could work and get to something like this, or were you thinking like no one's gonna have enough people to not draft,
right?
Or were you just kind of do it to see what happened, or did you think, hey, this could actually work, or when did you think, oh, this is working?
So originally we just thought it would be for people who couldn't attend their drafts, like somebody had to go to a wedding or, something like that. So, I mean, the first couple of years we did maybe a couple dozen drafts just from people finding us randomly on the internet. But it evolved to people who can go to the drafts. They just don't have the time to do the research. They're tired of losing. They're tired of their friends making fun of them for losing every year. So they just want to hire an expert to draft for them and then give it to them to, run, or even, let us manage the entire season for them. We do quite a few of those as well too. So that's the part that I didn't expect, was for people who could draft. They're just choosing not to. They want to hire us instead. And that's where a lot of the repeat businesses come from. We've drafted some guys' teams for the past 5-6 years. They come back every year. So I feel like I kind of know some of these guys.
Nathan Schivley joins us here from FantasyDraftProxies.com and Fantasy Reports Ohio with the Fantasy Football Island Show. Have you noticed, first of all, it's got to be difficult because there seems to be new draft platforms, fantasy football platforms coming up all the time. It used to be like ESPN.com, whatever, just CBS Sports, and now there's a lot more of them. Have you noticed a particular trend as far as which ones are more popular, which sites are more popular to use?
Sleeper has become a lot more popular the past couple of years, and for good reason. I mean, it's a really good draft application. So we do quite a few sleeper drafts. We do quite a few on ESPN and Yahoo. NFL Fantasy has a draft app that's not bad, so we'll do some on there. We do CBS. CBS, if there's anybody from CBS listening that's in charge of that draft application, please update your software because it's the worst. And especially like during season, it always, like on a Tuesday night before the season starts, it'll crash multiple times. People will freak out. They'll restart every year. So yeah, CBS is the worst by far.
Just so you know, I'm in a league where the commissioner who's going to remain nameless uses CBS. So
I've used it since 1999 is when I first started using CBS Sports. Right. We do a live draft, and I load the players later, so the draft software doesn't even matter. So don't do that, Chad.
Yeah.
Yes,
if I like application doesn't come into play, then
never. So after drafts happen, do you get a lot of feedback either way, or mostly like, do you get, hey, this guy was horrible after drafts, and how many of them are Jeff?
We do get some feedback. It's overwhelmingly, people are appreciative of our service. We do get the occasional one where they question some of the picks, in which case I usually say, well, you had the opportunity to give us guys that you wanted to target or stay away from when you reserved the draft, so you chose not to. So in that case, you kind of leave it to us. But I usually say, like, when that feedback comes back before the season's even started, and I'm like, well, let it play out and let's see. When it comes back after the year and we just, the draft sucked, then it is what it is. Sorry, better luck next year. But yeah, when people are questioning stuff before the season starts, I usually just say, hey, there's a reason why I picked these guys. Just wait and see. The problem is that these draft software, they'll give an automatic grade, like on ESPN.
Right. Yahoo does. Yeah, they get the grades on
the
there.
Grades are the worst because, that's based on how a computer would draft, and it doesn't take into account, like, rookies and sleepers are, usually valued pretty low. So if you take, flyers on that guy, you're going to get a lower grade. If you don't draft a second quarterback, then your overall points are going to be lower, so you'll get a lower grade. So I usually tell people, like, yeah, we could draft you to get an A on your report card, but instead we're going to draft you the best team possible, which doesn't necessarily align with what the computer thinks is the best team.
What I do, Nathan, is I tell them if they say, hey, it gave us a bad grade, I say, oh, you can't trust that. If they say it gave us a good grade, I say, yep, they sure did. You bet they did. That's right, because we know what the hell we're doing. I'm curious the range of people that have signed up. I think last year I did a draft. Was the person in Australia? Is that where they were? I did one from somebody overseas. Yeah, we do a handful of overseas drafts. That Australian guy's come back for the past 3 years. He'll probably come back again this year. It was like a 5 a.m. draft or something like that, if I remember correctly. Yeah, we'll do a handful of those. Yeah, for sure. I mean, they're all over. I've got a guy coming up who's in Europe, stationed overseas. His draft's in a couple days. So, yep. Those are the weird ones, but I mean, as long as they can figure out the time zones when they schedule their draft, we're good. And I noticed that. So when you get those, you mentioned the requests people put in, and because I know from looking at the forums and stuff, and some of the stuff you've sent to me, they can put in like, make sure you get this guy, make sure you get this guy. Has that increased? Do you see more of that, or has it not changed at all as far as people requesting certain players?
I mean, I'd say maybe 20% of the time they'll put in like guys to target. Usually they just say use your best judgment because, again, these guys, they don't know. That's why they're hiring us. But yeah, I mean, some guys are very particular and will send a whole spreadsheet full of guys to target, in which case I'm like, well, okay, you've obviously done the homework, but
right.
Why are you hiring us? But yeah.
Well, I appreciate them hiring us.
Yes, me too.
I just want to appreciate you, Nathan, for bringing me on because I tell you what, it was the first year this would be my third year doing it. I remember I had a draft coming up one night and I've got kids all in the house. And so my wife was like, hey, guys, leave Dad alone. He's got a draft to do. And it was almost as good as sex because like to hear her who hates fantasy football and thinks it's stupid say that was like, this is great. So I do appreciate you bringing me on.
Glad to be of service. Yeah, my wife, the first few years, she was annoyed with me doing the drafts all the time for like 2 straight weeks because it takes up, your evenings. But then, once it actually started being pretty profitable and paying for some vacations and things like that, then surprisingly, she's a lot more okay with it.
It feels to me, Nathan, like now, and I've mentioned this to people before, but it feels to me like fantasy football is for adults like bowling leagues were in the 70s. Kind of thing. Like, they would get together and go out and bowl. No one goes out and bowls in leagues. Not many people do, but it was their way to kind of like hang out with their buddies and do that kind of stuff. And so I feel like fantasy football kind of is that, it gives them something to talk about. And the draft's always a lot of fun. Is that, am I accurate? You thinking that?
Well, I was never bowling in the 70s, so I can't really make
I know
that
you
comparison.
weren't. I know.
But, from like, The Big Lebowski and, other movies like that, I would... Yeah, that's probably an apt comparison. But, definitely, I mean, when you get together with your friends on the weekends and it's football season, you guys are on a league together. I mean, that's what you're talking about at the bar is your fantasy football teams and trying to make trades and stuff like that. So it's fun.
He is Nathan Schivley with FantasyDraftProxies.com. And so I know we've had a few trickle in, but it's always like, it's going to get crazy busy here soon. So if people want to sign up and get assigned somebody to do their draft for them, they got to do it quickly, right?
Yeah, so this weekend is when it really starts to get heavy because a lot of people wait until the end of the preseason to schedule their drafts now because they don't want their players getting hurt. So, Labor Day weekend is always the most popular and busiest weekend, and then those 3 days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, leading up into the draft are really popular as well. So, yeah, if you're drafting that late, like you're doing a 9 o'clock or an 8 o'clock on, September 2nd, you better sign up now.
Yeah.
Those spots
do you have some on the books already for that?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, good. That's Chad and I both heard dollar signs go off in our head. Anyway, so yeah, it's fantasydraftproxies.com. And it offers drafting for, all kinds of drafts, right? You do, the snake draft, the auction draft, do all of those. And then also there's some full season management if you want that as well. That's an option. Also, we do some of that over there at Fantasy Draft Proxies, but fantasydraftproxies.com is where you go. You can hire your draft expert there. Nate, we appreciate the time, brother. We'll talk again soon.
Yep. Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Nathan.
See ya.
All right. That was Nate Schivley. Boy, I tell you, innovative what he's done. It's a cool thing.
It is a cool thing. And I remember when you told me about it, like, I was like, number one, I was like, that's crazy that people wouldn't want to draft themselves. Right. I even partly was like, that's just, I just couldn't. But then I'm like, how do I get involved? Get me in it. And I'm glad you did. I enjoy it. And it's just fun. And it just helps you become a better fantasy player doing drafts.
Yeah.
And then, making a little money is nice too.
The little money thing, yes, for sure. But then also going in there and I've often said I'm getting paid to do other drafts, and which is great because it also helps me in the leagues I'm like physically in, the ones I'm going to do, like our draft that comes up, our big, very competitive league. This is our 13th year?
It's
12th?
11th or 12th.
11th or 12th, what it is. Yeah, this thing. And it's always a big deal. So I get to do a lot of, I don't want to say mock drafts, because I'm not mocking them. I'm really trying to draft the best teams. But it gives me an idea, though, some knowledge of where guys are going, who's being valued more, and gives me an idea to get that insight. I've already done 3 drafts. I've done 3 drafts so far. And I've got another one tonight. You've done 1 so far?
Yes.
Yeah, and you got more coming. We know, like Nathan said, it's going to get really busy here really fast for us.
Yep, exactly. All right. Next guy.
Yep.
I am the only running back. Oh, no, I went too soon. I can do this one next. That's fine.
All right.
I got to make sure I go back, though. I am the only running back with over 50 receptions in each of the last 3 seasons.
Okay.
I am also the only running back with over 40 receptions in each of the last 8 seasons.
Okay.
No other running back besides me had at least a 21.4% target share in 2024. Last year, only 2 running backs had more games with at least 15 fantasy points than me. So my question is, hello, is it me you're looking for?
Is it Alvin Kamara?
Best wishes, Alvin Kamara.
Yeah, I nailed that one. Good.
You did. It was the 8 years. That's a good
way. By the way, your thoughts on him right now?
So I was looking at some stuff. The Saints, and I know they got Kellen Moore. So if you're drafting Saints, I think you must be a believer that Kellen Moore is a miracle worker and they just can do something. Because here's the thing with the Saints last year, they started out 47 points, 44 points.
Right. Yeah.
When the greatest Derek Carr back-to-back weeks ever.
Should have retired right then.
Right. He should have.
I'm out of here. Good night, everybody.
Exactly. Yes. And on a high note.
Let on a high note. Yep.
So they only had one other game where they scored 30 points or more. If you take away those 2 first games, they averaged 16.5 points per game. And most of that was with Derek Carr.
Yeah.
So now, you take away Derek Carr, who's, I don't think he's a great NFL quarterback, but he's a serviceable quarterback and better than what they have. Kamara's 30.
Yeah. I know.
I just, like I said, those are, and that's why these stats are fun. It's like, oh, that's cool. But sometimes you're like, I'm not buying in on Kamara at where you have to draft him.
I think so too. And the reason that I think that's true, Chad, is because when we're doing the drafts, or if you're doing your draft at home with these people, the listeners or watchers here that are doing this, but if you're doing your drafts, you'll have some people that just look at last year's stats. And Alvin did have good stats last year. Kamara did have decent stats last year, and you draft off of that based on where you should be drafting him based on what you think he's going to do this year. And so I think sometimes that's why you probably have to overdraft for him if you want him.
Exactly. So would you rather have, here's a couple, some I know you know. So Breece Hall, Alvin Kamara.
I think I'd take Kamara there.
Okay. Breece Hall's going 2 picks ahead.
Okay.
Travion Henderson, who's going 10 picks after Kamara.
Give me Travion on that one. Yeah.
James Conner. He's even after that.
Now you're talking about 2. Now they're both 30-year-old guys.
Right. Connor
coming off really the best season he's ever had.
Yeah.
But they also have Benson there.
Yeah.
If it's between those 2, I'd probably go Kamara.
Okay. What about one more?
Yep.
Isaiah Pacheco. You're not getting any kind of passing game with him.
Right.
And he's with the Chiefs.
Right.
So he's a lot younger though too. So
I'm going to take Pacheco on that one.
I think I would too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
From weeks 9 to 17 of last season, all other running backs on my team combined for 9 total touches. 9.
All the other running backs
on his team
since
from week 9 on last year combined for 9 touches.
Oh my goodness.
Yes. And starting from week 9, I played over 85% of my team's snaps while averaging over 23 touches and 116 scrimmage yards per game.
Okay.
I was also the 4th best running back in points per game from week 9 on. The other running backs currently on my team are a 29-year-old with 48 touches last year and a 6th-round rookie. So my question is, hello, is it me you're looking for? Future top 5 running back? Chase Brown.
Really?
Yes.
I guess that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, this is why I love Chase Brown. He's going to get the volume. And so I looked in some stuff. He had 229 rushes, 54 receptions, 283 touches last year. He averaged 4.2 a carry. If you went from week 9 on, he had 23 touches per game. You take that for a 17-game season, that's 401 touches. So that's an additional 117 touches.
Right.
If they keep him at the 23 touch per game mark, which I think they could.
Right.
So Chase Brown with 401 touches, give me that all day, every day.
Yes, I agree. I don't think he'll get to that number.
I don't either.
But I think he could very easily get to the 330 to 350 range. I could see that right there. But yeah, I love Chase Brown also. You're right. Yeah, that's a guy that, where are you going to get him? Is it early second? Is it late second?
He is not. He used to be
third.
Used to be getting him in the early mid third. Now it's really mid second. If I'm in the back half,
yeah,
I'm just auto picking Chase Brown as my second pick, no matter who I take.
Right.
I just did a draft the other day, and it was out of the nine hole, and I went receiver at 9. I took Nico Collins,
right,
and I just took Chase Brown because I didn't think he was going to get back to me.
Okay, yeah, and
I took him over Henry and Jacobs and Jonathan Taylor.
I would take him over all 3 of those guys. I would take him over all 3 of those guys and feel great about it. Yeah.
Okay. All right. This is gonna be a neat one here. Last season, there were 31 different running backs that had at least 150 carries.
Okay.
Jahmyr Gibbs and I are the only 2 that had at least 15% of their carries go for 10 yards or more. In 2024, 2025, my only competition is a 30-year-old who only converted 5 of his 20 goal-to-goal opportunities.
Okay.
I'm currently being drafted as the RB34. So my question is, hello, is it me you're looking for?
He goes RB34?
Yeah. Cheers, Jordan Mason. I don't know why I made him English, but I just...
Yeah, apparently you did that. I don't know if Jordan...
He's not English.
I don't think the name Jordan Mason's the least bit English.
But I just had to come up with a new greeting.
Okay.
Yeah, Jordan Mason is the RB34, and if he can beat out or have an injury to Aaron Jones...
Yeah. Which a lot of people are, because Aaron Jones, another guy who's not young.
No.
But he's not that old. It's still...
I think he's 30.
I don't think he's 30 yet. I
know he's Aaron Jones senior, but I know he's not that senior.
Right, yeah. I don't know.
He will be 31 on December 2nd.
So he is 30.
He is.
Okay. Wow. Then yeah, Jordan Mason's a nice late flyer to take, isn't he?
He is. Yes. He's one of those that falls in. I usually can either get him or Charbonnet. Sometimes.
Right.
Sometimes you get them both, but at that point it's usually I don't need both. But yeah. He's the one to keep an eye on as one of those RB2s on a team that could easily emerge as the RB1.
Yeah.
Okay. Over the last 2 seasons, no wide receiver has a higher yards per route run than me. I rank 2nd in yards per target and 3rd in fantasy points per target over those 2 years. In the 22 games where I played at least 60% of the snaps, I am averaging 18.9 points per game. Last year, that would have been the wide receiver 2. So my question is, hello, is it me you're looking for?
Terry McLaurin?
Signed, Nico Collins.
Nico Collins.
And so that's the one we've talked about.
Yeah.
At the 1-2 turn, you've got the Neighbors, Collins, Sun God, Puka, Brian Thomas, London, and maybe even throw in A.J. Brown. But like that's the one where I think it's you can either like really like if you pick the 2,
right? Yeah, yeah,
or it could really hurt you if you pick the 2 that aren't going to pan out.
Right? Yeah.
But yeah, I was surprised that Nico because he got hurt last year,
right?
And he's only had that 1 year with Stroud. So I very very excited about those stats. And Nico is an alpha dog,
right? Yeah.
So, all right. In his last 3 starts last season, no quarterback had a higher average depth of target than my starting quarterback. In those 3 starts, no player had a higher percentage of his passes travel 20 plus air yards.
Okay.
Last year, there were only 4 players with more receiving yards on deep passes than me. Last year, there were 34 different players who had at least 105 targets. I was the player with the highest off-target rate on those targets.
Targets.
So you got a quarterback throws deep,
but doesn't throw it well.
No, that last year I had the worst off target.
Worst off target. Okay.
And this quarterback only started 3 games with me. I only played 2 with them.
Only played 2 with them.
I have a 1,000-yard receiving season, and last year I had 992 receiving yards. I am being drafted as the wide receiver 52.
52?
Yes. So hello, is it me you're looking for? I'll hang up and listen. Darnell Mooney.
Oh, interesting.
It's
It's right. 3 games. Yeah, that should have done. Yeah.
Yeah. He only played 2. He didn't play that final week, and he had 5 and 2 receptions. So it's a small sample size. We still don't know what Penix is all about.
Right.
But he is, I think, clearly the wide receiver 2 in that Atlanta offense.
He is. Yes.
And so you figure London on one side, Bijan in the backfield, he could get a lot of single coverage.
Yeah. And, they keep talking about this reemergence of Kyle Pitts. And I don't know, like they keep saying he looks better, looks a lot better this year. They say it every year, though.
He does.
Yeah, it's great. But
Yeah, except. All right. So last one.
Yep.
Last season with my rookie quarterback under center, I had a team high 20.8% target share. I also saw twice as many red zone and end zone targets from him than any other player on my team. In 2021, under former and now current offensive coordinator, I saw 47% of the team's end zone targets and scored a career high 9 touchdowns. That year, I finished as the 10th best tight end in fantasy based on total points. I'm going as the tight end 21 if drafted at all.
Oh.
Hello. Is it me you're looking for?
Darren Waller.
That's a great guess because I forgot he's even still playing. No,
yes.
Love Hunter Henry.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And he's 30, so he's not super old for a tight end.
Tight ends, no, that's young for a tight end.
No, yeah.
That's it's younger, yeah.
So interesting, if you're waiting on tight end, you could probably get him with your last pick.
Right,
tight end 21.
And if you were playing along at home, thank you very much. Pausing it before he gave the answer so you could see it or see if you got it right. We do have a home version of the game coming up. That'll be available online. And we do have, we're waiting right now. We're in negotiations with Lionel Richie to try to get him on the cover of it or something to that effect. And we'll see if we can get that done. All right. So that's it for today's show. Thank you to Nathan Schivley for joining us. That's a great game, Rink. Glad we played that. And inching closer and closer to draft day. He's at Chad Ochocinco on Twitter. I'm at That Happens. FantasyDraftProxies.com is where you can go to sign up an expert to help you out with your drafts. I've been doing it since 1980. That's not a lie. My first pick, Brian Sipe in the 3rd grade on a Friday afternoon. So, and go to download the app, Fan Stream Sports app. It's free for all the Apple and Android users out there. So go check that out as well. We will talk to you soon.